geez, ages ago now. I remember watching a hacker documentary that I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. This is like, this is just like a profile of this guy who is like, he was billeted as like an internet troll and a sysadmin. And it was like, oh, like this is, so for me, when I saw this, I was a sysadmin / IT guy. And I was definitely into that kind of stuff. So when I watched the documentary the first time, I didn't know who the person was that they were profiling, but they showed off, that he was like hated by some and loved by others on the internet, which is at the time to me sounded pretty innocuous and pretty typical of like, trolls on the internet, especially if you're like a prolific one where, and I think 4chan had been kind of mentioned, but like in a way that wasn't like, it was like, okay, well, of course, like the trolls and 4chan, that just makes sense, right? Okay, whatever. But then eventually it showed like the site that he was sysadminning, so eventually it gets to the point in the documentary where it like reveals, his technical chops, and they just drop the bomb that he's the sysadmin of Stormfront. And so this is like at least like more than halfway into the documentary, and I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? Excuse me. Why was that not front and center? That's a Nazi website. That's literally like Nazi Haven before Twitter and everything else became actual, like just full of people being able to say whatever words they want. Stormfront was the place where white supremacists and Nazis actually like convened on the regular. It is called that because of the storm, and it is the storm front. It's very much like coded and obvious white supremacy, Nazi ideology and everything. It's not even stuff that I have to like pretend or like, ooh, they're white. No, they're actual white supremacists. That's the whole point of the site existing. And it was a bastion for those people to congregate and have a place where they can like, spout their very racist, very bigoted, very awful. It's just, yeah, it's like if you think of the worst of 4chan without the irony pilling, that was Stormfront. It was like on purpose, and they really, really like, that's just a place where people like that could feel safe and say whatever they wanted. And there's no repercussions because obviously it was like a free speech haven and all that kind of stuff too, right? So for it to be not front loaded, that this guy helps run Stormfront, and like for that to be dropped on us midway through the fucking thing is incredibly deceptive. Like it was obviously done on purpose, because if you had known that he was a sysadmin of Stormfront from the beginning, you would have tossed the video in the trash immediately, because this guy's a fucking thing. And now so what I was trying to find that documentary, because I have no idea where that documentary is now, but I wanted to find it and like prove, if I remembered correctly, that that's how it was let in, because that's how I remember being introduced to it. Is like, I thought it was just this cool hacker guy, just a profile of another cool hacker guy in the 90s, and then it turns out, no, actually he's a fucking Nazi, he's an anti-Semite, he's very, and it, like, you don't even learn about that until the end of the video either. Then he says some stuff where it's like, oh, bro, you're actually like a real fucking neo-Nazi. Like, holy shit. Like, but again, that's all at the end. So you don't know that until the end of the fucking video. And I'm just like,